talked about it yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder. Everyone talking about a neutral AFC championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. Back-to-back champs, kings of the north with it. Thinking they can hang with us, still ain't jumped out the porch with it. Long bomb to chase every Sunday, watch him go and get it. Double up on him, then we gon' double down on T. Higgins. Then throw Boyd in the mix, now you really iffy. Every Sunday showing boys how to really gritty. They try to shuffle up the game on us, but they ain't icky. Flip the coin, kick the toe Roger to go and get it. Never know what's gonna happen when Joe drop back. He get shiesty in the pocket, I get shiesty on the track. Nobody on the team, all pro, that's all cap. Most all around team in the NFL, that's all fact. Ain't came across nobody yet that seem like they can hang with us. They said we couldn't be Buffalo, but see how we call they bluff. Underdogs every week, they keep on trying to label us. Put your money on us, even if Vegas don't favor us. No matter what, we really came up, now it's hard to fail. I dare you come across that middle, Von gon' ring your bell. I know we under they skin, them boys built frail. Eli Apple out there chirping like a next tail. You don't want Salmon Trey to come off them ends. Rita clogging up the middle like a big body Benz. Right behind them Logan and Pratt, the turnover twins. Jesse Bates in the backfield just to clean up the loose ends. We just drafted Cam and drafted Hill. Instant gratification every time that they on the field. We can't go back to what we was, cause that's the loser way. It's been hard to throw on us since we picked up a Woozier. It's like win after win, feel like we could really do it. Zach Taylor doing the same for the city, I give it to him. And I bet Samazi will find a hole if you give it to him. Hayden Hurst don't need a hole, he just plan on running through him. Just hand it off to 28 and let him do the dash. Getting hit by BJ Hill probably feel like a car crash. Every week it seem like Lou digging deeper in his bag. And if the game on the line, all my favorite money match. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up.
What do we say, Dolph?
That's right, y'all. They gotta play us. What's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the 11 straight winning Cincinnati Reds and the home of the back-to-back AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals, and FC Cincinnati set a record for the most wins at home. How cool is it being a Cincinnati fan right now? This is unbelievable. Do me a favor. Found the show. Hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 2,225 subscribers. That is unbelievable. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, why not? Please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you got a question you'd like to ask me or something you'd like to ask Mohammad, he's a Bengals beat writer from Cleveland.com. Got to find out how that works out. But anyway, got a super chat. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from this glorious place down there called the Ice Cave. The Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And you know what? I wear it every single day. I got the hat on today. JackpotJoey9.com. We got the hats. We got the gear. We got the flags. We got the greatest quarterback in the league. His name is Joe Burrow. We like to call him Jackpot. Portions of the proceeds of the hats, the flags, everything else, go to the Joe Burrow Foundation and the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. We were able to donate a huge check a couple months ago to the Joe Burrow Foundation because of the Jackpot Joey golf outing. It's about $10,000. That's pretty good. So we got a cornhole tournament coming up here pretty soon. Details come up soon in August at Brink Brewery. Again, everything of that one's going to the Joe Burrow Foundation. What's up to everybody? The chat strangers in there first. Brad, what's up? Ken's in there. How do you say that? Manon? Mana? What's up? Who day? Matt, what's up? Fiji's in there. Where you been at, man? What's up, Fiji? Haven't seen you in a chat in a while. And Smash Adams, what's up to everybody there? All right. He's in the background. He is trying to get on. I'm hoping it works, but we'll find out. But anyway, here is Muhammad. Are you there, Muhammad?
I am there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see it, but I can hear you. What's
Yeah, yeah. Camera issues, man. I knew this was gonna happen. I was on the other podcast with Man on Monday, and unfortunately, my camera wasn't working. Then that was the Bengals Pulse podcast. It wasn't working,
Yeah.
so
Good dude over there.
unfortunately, can't see my pretty awesome face, man. But
That's all right.
You did a good job of showing it though with the Photoshop with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you like my artistic ability there? You know,
I love it. I think it's good, man. You got something good going there, bro. That was good.
You're a part of the team. Now, I have a question. I've heard you on different podcasts. I think you're on Trag's podcast not that long ago. Is that
yes?
True? Okay,
yeah, Trags is my guy.
Trags is my dude. He comes on here all the time. I love Trags.
Yeah, man.
How does a Cleveland newspaper have a Bengal beat writer? Because I don't see the Inquirer, or well, we don't have the Post anymore, doing a Browns beat writer. I'm just how does that there that many Bengals fans up in Cleveland?
It's a very good question, and I get this question a lot, but it's a good question for sure. So I don't know that it's so much that. I'm sure there are definitely Bengals fans in Northeast Ohio, but I think it's more so that Cleveland.com saw that like there's a lot of Bengals fans in Ohio in general, that
Right.
the Bengals are just such a very highly sought after followed team.
Right.
And so, it made sense kind of having me on. And I mean, there's two other guys I write with as well. One is named Andrew, the other's named Mike. So I have two other awesome guys who help me out as well. But no, I think it's just more so they were kind of just branching outside of Cleveland because, they also cover Ohio State too. Like they started really attacking the Buckeyes a couple years ago. Like Doug Maurice, if you follow him, and if you don't, you should. He does a great job with Nathan and Steven on that beat. And so it's kind of the same idea with the Bengals. I think they just saw that, like, man, there's so many Bengals fans across Ohio. And, like the Joe Burrow effect, being an Ohio kid, like the Joe Burrow effect is real. So I think all those things played into it. And, it's bold, but that's what makes Cleveland.com special is they are bold and they are fearless. That's why I feel like I enjoy working for a place like that. It's awesome.
Hey, it's awesome. I mean, the more coverage you get from my Bengals, the better. Now, I read your article about Joe Burrow and his leadership and all that stuff. Now, the one thing I have a beef with you. I know they call him Joe Cool. It has nothing to do with me calling him Jackpot. I can't call him Joe Cool. I've said this on the show a million times. That Joe Montana was Joe Cool, and he beat us twice in the Super Bowl. So I refuse to call him that. But other than that, it was a really good article. Why don't you speak on the article that you just wrote about? About Joe, the Burrow effect and all that entails.
Man, it was interesting because you look at a guy like that who's had so much success in so little time, like even predating his time in Cincinnati when he was at LSU, and you could even say his high school days.
Right.
And you wonder, like, what makes a guy like that so confident? What makes him so calm? What makes his teammates and even his coaches look at him and acknowledge the impact he's had? Like, this is just a question I just had to have an answer for, because I feel like a lot of people probably wondered the same thing. Like, what makes Joey B Joey B? What makes him, like you said, Jackpot Joey or Joe Shiesty, like whatever name you want to give him. Even
like I said, you can call him anything. Just don't call him Joe Cool. That's just me. I like Joe Montana tortured me as a kid, so I can't stand Joe Montana. So
he definitely did. I was gonna say, he definitely would have. I'm not old enough to remember those Super Bowls, but
you call me old, Muhammad. God, man, talking to me on my own show.
I didn't say old. I said I'm not old enough. I'm talking about myself.
Okay, I got you.
I'm not old enough. That makes you feel better.
I got you.
But my uncles feel the same way. They grew up watching those Super Bowls, so I get it. I grew up in Kentucky, so Bengals country.
Yep.
But yeah, I wanted answers to that.
Right.
And so I reached out to two extremely talented leadership experts in the Cincinnati area. One of them I actually had on our podcast about a month ago. If people want to go tune in and listen, Lauren Steed, who's a professor of management with a PhD at the University of Cincinnati's Business College, Lindner College of Business. Yep. Then I talked to Zach Russell, who was a professor doing the same thing over at Xavier University. So two people who are very good at what they do, who really kind of dissected Joe Burrow in a way that, like, you don't really see from his coaches and his teammates, who I did talk to as well. But, for a story like that, I just needed like that third party perspective.
Right.
And it actually opened my mind up. And, I would go into detail, but I think if you read the article, for those who want to read it, it goes into more detail. But, it's just his confidence, which ties in with his interpersonal attractiveness, which is how he gets those nicknames.
Yep.
Emotional stability, which is, what allows him to not get, he always says it, like he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. And like, he says what he means, and he means what he says when he says that. And you look at the individualized like influence he has on his teammates, the individualized consideration, like all of that ties into this transformational leadership style that he has, which literally is how he transformed the Bengals into, a 2-14, 4-11 team into a Super Bowl contender.
Yep.
Not to take anything away from what Zach Taylor and the other players have done, but like,
no, but if you ain't got Joe Burrow, it's not going to be the same.
It's not happening.
Yeah,
not happening. It starts with one guy, and it was definitely him.
Exactly, and that's one thing that I remember when we were going through that horrible season of 2019, and I remember the first time I saw Joe Burrow was, well, I'd heard about him. I'll put it that way. I heard about it because I knew he was at Ohio State, and I knew there's a chance he could have went to UC, which he almost did. And so I'd heard the name before. I knew he was a good quarterback. But the first time I really going, wow, was the LSU game against Alabama. Actually, no, I take that back. It was week 0. It was LSU versus Texas. I was like the first game of the 2019 season. I'm like, wow. I said, LSU's got a quarterback. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that guy Joe Burrow. He's from Ohio. Yeah, And then the Bengals, completely sucked that year. And then I'm like, after the Alabama game, I'm like, I want the Bengals to lose every single game the rest of the year because I want that guy on my team. I want that dude as my quarterback because there's something different about him. Like you said, he does. He's just even keeled. He doesn't, and that's the thing. He's wired different. We'll say he's a psychopath. Like I got the authors on here from Bengals to Bulldogs, and they talk about Joe Burrow. How his baseball team got hosed in a baseball tournament. They got second place. A couple of teammates like smashed the trophy and threw it away. Well, Joe took it home, and his mom Robin called the coach, and said, "I don't know if I should be worried about this or proud of Joe. He's in there slowly dissecting the trophy, and they threw it in the trash. That's just a psycho." In a good way of just wanting to win. And it wasn't emotional. He didn't break it over, his knee, he didn't throw it away. He just went home and slowly, methodically took it apart. And that's kind of how Joe is. There's no, if you ever watch my show, I'm a big emotional guy. I get really excited. I'm way up here and I'm down low. Joe's not like that. And if you're a quarterback, that's what you got to be. And that's a guy that's going to lead teams and it's going to lead you into big situations and to a Super Bowl eventually win, I think, this year. And that's what we got with Joe Burrow. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that the Bengals had with this guy.
I mean, you said it there. I mean, I don't know if it's psychopath or sociopath, but it's impressive. Like, yes, I don't think most people are wired that way. Like, no. I think I forget who, I read this somewhere. Somebody said, like, you could put him in the calmest place on earth, or you could put him in like a literal burning house, like a firefighter,
right?
And his heart rate's not going to change. Yeah. Like that. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if he was just saying that, or if there's some basis for that. But
there's people that are wired like that.
True. If that's true, then that's pretty crazy.
Right. That's not normal. I mean, but to do what we want him to do, he's got to be like that. He's got the ball in his hand the whole time, and football is different than any other sport. Is if you get that quarterback, that's what I kept telling everybody. You get that quarterback, you get that toy, that changes everything. Baseball, we got Ellie De La Cruz, who's awesome, but he's one guy. Joe Burrow changed the franchise. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz could change the franchise, but he still needs more people around him.
Oh yeah,
to do it. The pitchers have more control of it, I think, than Burrow's got the ball in his hand all the time, and the chemistry between him and Chase, it's off the chart, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak much on Ellie De La Cruz. I don't really follow the Reds like I used to.
Oh, you got to 11 in a row, baby. 11 in a row.
I should now, yeah. I always tell people I had like 3 divorces with the Reds, and now I'm like my 4th marriage with them. So I guess I have to now.
Exactly. We've all been there.
I'm not like a big baseball aficionado in general, but to the point about Burrow, I mean, yeah, like because we saw what happened his rookie year. I mean, even before he unfortunately towards ACL. They were like, what, 1-6-1? I mean, their season was pretty much either over or just hardly hanging in the balance at that point, which is funny because I think Washington had the same record, but they made the playoffs. So they had a weird run. But yeah, I mean, the Bengals season was pretty much over. I think even if Burrow didn't get hurt, at best, they would have finished like 5-10-1, 6-9-1, which is, it's better than 2-14. But yeah, I mean, he didn't have a lot of supporting cast. Like AJ Green was a hollow shell of his old self. Sam Hubbard was still kind of growing into what he is now. They didn't have Trey Hendrickson. Jesse Bates, he had a great year, but like he still hadn't played with Von Bell up until that point. So, they had to build on that symbiotic relationship. Linebackers wise, I mean, Jermaine Pratt was still young. Logan Wilson wasn't a starter yet. Like we didn't see what we saw from Wilson until, the year after with the Super Bowl run. So they just either didn't have guys, like, didn't have Mike Hilton, didn't have Trey Hendrickson, didn't have Chidobe Awuzie, and then a lot of the guys I did have were still growing into their own. Didn't have Jamar Chase, obviously.
Well, that's the thing.
You had T. Higgins. T. Higgins was good, though, and so was Tyler Boyd, so that was a plus.
All right, that's one thing I've said, that knee injury was a blessing in disguise, because if he doesn't hurt his knee, we don't get Jamar.
To an extent. Yeah. I mean, I still think they would have gotten a top 10 pick, but I mean, let's say it ends up Miami is still number 6. Like say the Dolphins are still at 6 and then the Bengals are 7. Like they win 1 or 2 more games and they're up at 7. I think the Dolphins would have taken Jamar because they took Jalen Waddle, but Jamar was off the board at that point. Like, and I'm sure you saw on that podcast that Jimmy Chase and Jimmy Burrow did with Dan Horde.
Yeah.
Jimmy Chase was saying he would have loved, for Jamar to go to South Beach so that he could have an excuse to, watch Jamar play on the beach. But he also admitted, like, I actually appreciate that he was honest because I think a lot of guys might have felt the same way. Like, he just thought the Bengals were the same old Bengals, or as people used to say, like, same old Bungles. Like, oh, they just brought in a number 1 overall pick, a Heisman Trophy winner, hint, hint, Carson Palmer, and are going to end his career the same way they ended, well, not ended, but limited, Carson Palmer's career.
Right.
So he probably saw all the demons, the draft pick demons, the injury demons, the playoff demons, and said, why do I want Jamar to go there? Well, Jamar said, well, I want to go there because I want to play with Joe Burrow, my friend, my homie, my ride or die, and the rest is history. So that is a big what if. What if Joe Burrow didn't get hurt? That is a big what if. I didn't think about it like that.
I just gave you another article to write. You're right. You're welcome.
I mean, it's the off season, man. You got to have content, which we've got churning. But yeah, definitely.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you, man. Now, so I put in the comments, or Travis who, and Travis Kelce needs to shut the hell up. Good God, dude. I mean, and I'm a Bearcat fan, but geez, though, he said, shout out to Jamar Chase for holding it down for his QB, but don't you ever disrespect Pat Mahomes. If you want to talk your shit, you can talk your shit, pimp. Just better back it up. Travis, for the love of God, you beat us once by 3 points. And it's the same thing
in his defense, he did beat the Bengals in Mahomes' first year as a starter on that Sunday Night Football game.
Yeah,
so I guess twice technically.
Yeah, but we didn't have Joe then, so they can just suck it.
Yeah, that was like the end of the Marvin Lewis era. I get that, but yeah.
I'm just why is the Chiefs are more obsessed with the Bengals than anything else? I don't get it. I mean, I know to me it's fear. I think they know that their time is over because honestly, Mohammad, if you look at what the Bengals did in the offseason, adding Orlando Brown, getting our offensive line fixed again for the 3rd straight year, but I think it's really fixed this time. And the Chiefs' offensive line has gotten worse. I mean, they were going to make a right tackle, a left tackle, and then they switch him back to right tackle, and then sign some dude off the retirement line to go be their left tackle. Their offensive line is nowhere close to what it was. So I think they know they're in trouble.
I don't know. I don't want to be a sympathizer for them, but I am going to push back a little bit. I mean, people said the same thing last year. No Tyreek Hill. What is, Mahomes going to do? He just lost the Super Bowl, and then he loses an AFC Championship game up by 18. Like, I definitely said, okay, yeah, how good are they going to be? Like, is Travis Kelce still good at the age of 32, 33? Can he really win with, Marquez Valdez-Scantling and, Juju Smith-Schuster and I guess Sky Moore, who wasn't even good until like the playoffs, basically when he got back in the lineup. Like I had the same concerns. Like I get it, and they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then who did they have? Isaiah Pacheco, who like at the time nobody knew about or cared about because he was a 7th round pick. I mean, he made those guys look good. Like he made MVS look good.
Yeah.
He made Isaiah Pacheco look like a 1st round pick. Like I didn't know who the guy was until, Edwards-Helaire got hurt, and then they just made Pacheco the starter until, the rest of the season. Like he even played in that Bengals game, and I was like, wow, this kid's actually pretty good. Like the regular season game, I should say, and then eventually the playoffs. But I mean, look, you got to give it to Mahomes. I understand he was going to win the MVP with or without that like ankle and a half performance in the playoffs, but to have a 5,000 passing yard season and like to do it with everyone else except Travis Kelce not back for the most part, And I don't know. That was impressive. What I'm saying is I still think he can do it again with relatively the same guys. I know they lost Juju to the Patriots and they drafted Rashee Rice in the 2nd round from SMU, but still got MVS, still got Kadarius Toney, who I forgot to mention. Maybe Sky Moore actually has a better year. Like, I don't know, man. Pacheco, we know what we know. Right. And I will say with losing Orlando Brown, that does hurt them, but who knows? Maybe Jawan Taylor's not as good. I'm going to say he's as good.
But he's going to play right tackle now. They moved back to right tackle. He's not going to be there left.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like they pulled the Jonah Williams move, moving the right tackle. I don't know. Maybe we'll see what happens, but I don't think we should write them off. I still think they're going to be pretty good.
I'm not saying that at all. I mean, dude, trust me, it's going to be a battle. It ain't going to be easy. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're Super Bowl champs. I mean, you got to give it to them. I'm just saying they act like they kicked our ass. They beat us by 3 freaking points. That's the part that drives. I'm like, that's what I'm like. You beat us by 3 points, the same amount of points we beat you last or the year before that in the AFC Championship game. I mean, it ain't going to be it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight, which hopefully both teams will make it to the AFC Championship game. And this year it's got to be in the jungle is what I'm.
That would be fun. That would be so fun.
Oh, that would be awesome. I just don't get all the hate from the Chiefs. Like, you won the Super Bowl. Cool. Congratulations. Yeah, we caught a Burrowhead. Get over it. Quit being babies about it. I just don't get it. I mean, and it's fine. But I just think that's more bulletin board material for the Bengals are like, because the Bengals aren't saying anything. It's Travis Kelce running his mouth. And it's just like, all right, we'll see what happens, because your offensive line is worse. I don't care what anybody says. It's worse than it was last year. Ours got better. So that right there, we're better. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. It's still going to be a very close game. I just don't get why they act like they destroyed us. They beat us once. First time they beat us in 4 tries. I just don't. That's the part where I'm at. I just don't get why they're so confident that they think that it's over. That's what it feels like to me, Mohammad. It's just like they think, Bengals are like Travis Kelce, Burrowhead. Dude, you barely beat us. I mean, if we don't put the ball right down the middle of the field and Joseph Osai doesn't knock Patrick Mahomes, to the next stadium out of bounds, that game's going into overtime. I mean, I was at the game, so I mean, I remember.
So was I. Yeah, I was there.
Oh, dude, it was cold as hell too.
Well, I was in the press box, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I get that.
Mr. Fancy.
Look at me, I'm so special. I know. But I will say, I was there the year before as a fan because I wasn't covering the team at the time, so I do get how cold it was even then last year. Yeah, I was actually. I don't know if you were at that game. The first
the year before. No, I wasn't the year before. No.
Yeah, I drove 9 hours to get to that game. I was living in Western Kentucky at the time, so I had to drive pretty far to get there. So yeah, no, but I mean, I don't know, like, so yeah, I mean, Kelsey's definitely like reading into it, I think, but like, I mean, you got to think about it though. Like, I thought about this. It's the off season. Mm-hmm. These guys let their guards down. Like, they don't have to worry about football for like 4 or 5 more weeks. Like. Mm-hmm. I think, they're just having fun because, like, we're saying right now, Travis Kelce's going crazy, yada, yada, yada. Well, a few months from now, you might be saying, why is Travis Kelce so quiet? Which, I mean, he's not because he has a podcast where he runs his mouth all the time.
He's never going to be quiet, which I look, shout out. I love the
But it's like other guys, like, okay, why is Mahomes not talking? Like, you saw Mahomes with the picture, with the 2 rings. Like, I don't think he does it in the regular season. I think he's locked in and focused like Joe Burrow.
Right.
So I enjoyed a little bit, but
dude,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I think it's funny.
It's yeah, it is. Yeah.
It just seems like we're in there. It just seems like me, and maybe I do a podcast every day, so I try to find stuff to talk about. But it just seems like we're in their head, and I just don't. I don't, because I get, dude, I get so much. Well, not as much now, but oh shoot, Chiefs fans tweeted at me till April about the Chiefs or whatever, and I'm like, you beat us by 3 points. Calm down. Good luck.
So I will say about that, I've noticed that trend too. Like, I mean, they didn't tweet at me. I'm a reporter. I'm not really here to pick fights, but like as an observer, I've seen a lot of Chiefs fans. This word might be controversial, but I think you'll agree. A lot of them just seem insecure.
Yeah.
Like I sense a lot of insecurity. Right. Like they love, and I'll admit, it's not just the Bengals that they go after, but they seem to have an affinity for going after the Bengals. Like that is very interesting to me. And I don't get it because it's like you said, this is only like what? You're talking in February, March, April, fresh off the Super Bowl. Like I figured you guys would be more excited. Like you just won a Lombardi. Like
right.
I don't know. You sound kind of insecure for like week 1, which is a ways to go.
Exactly. Now, I will say this: the Chiefs fans at the stadium were fine. I had no.
They're great people. Yeah, I've met them.
Awesome.
They're some of the best in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ones that are on Twitter and they're behind the computer and you don't know. Who they are,
keyboard warriors.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter is awful and awesome all at the same time. So I mean, that's I challenge a couple of them. I was like, hey, I do a show every day at 5:30. Why don't you come on? We can talk. It's funny. Nobody ever, took me up on it. I don't know why, but
I probably just forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that was it. But yeah, it's look, it is. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. I mean, because I think this is becoming one of the best.
It's enjoyable to watch. I love it actually. It's
becoming one of the best rivalries in football. I mean, and then you got Buffalo, where I kind of brought this up. I titled this on a show when Stephon Diggs was going through all the stuff he was going through at the beginning of their minicamp where he didn't show up. And then Josh Allen was like, well, it's more than football. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound good. Then they kissed and made up and everything. And I'm like,
that actually made it sound worse in my opinion.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, okay, if it's not football, then that's not good. But I put it out there that did we break Buffalo? Because I think we broke Tennessee 2 years ago because Tennessee hasn't been the same. We ruined Ryan Tannehill. He hasn't been the same quarterback since then. And
did they though?
Well,
I don't know.
That's what I'm wondering because somebody said Kansas City broke them the year before that. 30 seconds and scored a touchdown, but then they came back and Bengals wore the white uniforms where they couldn't see us because we're in the snow and we're in white and somehow they couldn't see us. But anyway, I don't know. What do you think? I still think Buffalo's a good team. Trust me, I still think it's still us. Or number one's Kansas City, then it's us and Buffalo. I think in the AFC right now until somebody knocks us off.
I think so too. I definitely think those are your big three. Like kind of like how for the longest time it was Denver and New England and Pittsburgh. I think now it's like Cincinnati and Kansas City and Buffalo instead, which just shows you how much it's changed in the NFL, like in just the last couple of years alone. But I think that Buffalo's still there. Mm-hmm. My only thing is, are they going to be as good as they were last year? And I say that for several reasons, and nothing bad. I think it's just they're fair observations. Like one of them is, Stephon Diggs is going to be a Buffalo Bill next year. I don't think anyone's disputing that. Yeah. I mean, if they even considered the idea of trading him, like that's not happening. Like if they even thought about that, they'd be in cap space hell. Like they're already. I don't think they're in cap space hell now, but they will be if they pull a crazy move like that. So he's not going anywhere, but I do wonder though, like the emotional stuff, like the stuff that Josh Allen said that they're, quote unquote ironing out. How much is that going to play onto the field play? Like, I don't know. Like, is that going to raise some tensions that can affect how good they are? Mm-hmm. That's a fair question. Mm-hmm. And the other side of it is like Josh Allen's elbow, I know, got a little messed up midway through the year, and he played with like a partially torn ligament in his elbow, I think. I forget.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be gone for a couple weeks, and all of a sudden he kept playing. I never understood what actually happened.
I don't know. I forget. I don't know if it was the same thing as what happened to Brock Purdy in the NFC Championship. I don't know if it was the same thing as that, but it was something in his elbow, and I think it definitely affected him. I think a lot of those interceptions were not his fault. Like if you look at his numbers before the injury, he was good. I mean, he was like the preseason MVP favorite. He was solid.
Buffalo was balling out, dude. It wasn't even close. They were.
Oh yeah,
destroying
and he can still run. He can still move better than most guys.
He's a damn linebacker.
He's a gazelle. Like Lou Anarumo said, he's a gazelle.
Right.
I think he's a better runner than Patrick Mahomes. I think he runs better than Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
He'll definitely run you over, and that's.
Oh yeah, Mahomes can't do that. Mahomes can get away from you, but he can't run you over. That's where Allen has the advantage because Allen is 6'5", 250. I mean, most quarterbacks aren't built like that. Like that's not normal.
No.
In a crazy way, in a good way. Right. So
yeah,
but at the same time, I don't know how much he can overcompensate his elbow with his legs. I just don't know. And then. On top of that, I mean, like defensively, they lost Tremaine Edmonds in free agency. I thought that was a big part of their defense. I don't know how good Von Miller's going to be coming off of an ACL tear at the age of 33. He'll be 34 this year. Yep. I just don't know if he'll be good. Like there might be a significant drop off with the injury and the age catching up to him, which is why I think they signed Leonard Floyd. I think signing him from the Rams made sense, and that was a good move. Extending Ed Oliver, I like that too. I think he's good for them up front, but I don't know that like Miller can give them the rush, and if they can, replace Tremaine Edmonds, without him, I don't know. I will say this though, and this is where I think you just objectively have to have some empathy for Buffalo. I think the Bengals were going to beat them in that playoff game in Buffalo, no matter what. But
they would beat them Monday night too.
And they would have beaten them on Monday night too. Like just based on that start from both sides, I think they would have beaten them. But honestly, I think with everything that happened with just the DeMar Hamlin situation and just the emotional, wreckage that came with that, I don't know that game would have been that bad. Like I think it would have been a closer game. So I do think people are saying, "Oh, look at how bad they were in the playoffs." I don't think they were bad. I just think like there was a lot of emotions just spilling out that they were holding in.
Yeah, they went through a lot that year. I think I agree with you. Emotionally, they were just spent, honestly.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine what they had to go through. I just can't imagine being in their shoes. Like watching it, at the stadium. Like, I mean, that night is still one of the craziest nights I've ever experienced.
That was. It went from the loudest stadium I'd ever heard
to the most silent.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop. I'm like, because I remember cheering, and I'm like, oh, dude, he's not getting up. Like, the ambulance coming out. Oh, and then my phone started blowing up. My brother-in-law who lives down in Florida is watching the game. He's like,
all my friends were like, "What do you know? What do you know? What's going on?" I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm not on the field, but I was like,
all I know is he hasn't moved, and they got the card out here. I said that doesn't look good. So,
and like you said, like the ambulance came out, and like that almost never happens.
Right.
If that's when I knew like this is really bad.
Right.
Him not getting up, I thought, okay, maybe it was like Tua, maybe he had like a concussion or like a head injury that just kind of came out of nowhere. But no, once the ambulance came out, I was like, oh, that's not good. Right. Like that's horrible. And obviously, what happened. And by the grace of God, he's alive and he's doing better than ever. And hopefully
play football this year.
Hopefully he plays even better than ever this year, and he has a great football career. So I'm happy for him just as a human being. Like,
absolutely.
Doing well.
Then nobody, I don't care what team you play for. You don't ever want to see anybody have a chance of losing their life playing a game. I mean, that's just, nobody ever wants that. So, I mean, it was definitely a morbid situation, but I'm glad he's back. Everything seems to be fine. It looks like he's getting his career up. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime shot. I mean, to be honest, for what I played, it's once in a lifetime, but they just hit right at the right heartbeat or whatever, and just it stopped it. So I mean, luckily the ambulance got out there. Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati got out there and took care of him and got him back, alive basically, and he recovered and he's good to go. Now, what I do, we'll get back to Buffalo here. Another thing that they lost is they lost their defense coordinator.
That's true. Yeah, Leslie Frazier. That's a big one.
Yeah, so Leslie Frazier gone. So McDermott is not only going to be their head coach, but also their DC. Which I mean, he's been DC before.
Yeah, defensive guy, one of the rare, defensive head coaches in the league. But yeah,
right. So I wonder how that will change things because he's not just going to be able to oversee everything. He's actually got to make the defense calls and different things like that. Of how different is their defense going to be with him at the helm instead of Leslie Frazier, who. Leslie Frazier was a pretty damn good coach, in my opinion.
Great coach. I mean, that's why that Buffalo defense has been so good the last 3 years. So Yeah, I think there could be, and that's actually another thing I was going to get to. You kind of beat me to it. I think there'll be some drop off because of that. I don't know how significant, because like obviously, they still got like Leonard Floyd and Ed
Right.
Oliver, and I guess like they still have Jordan Poyer, right? Did he
I
resign?
think so.
Yeah, I think they re-signed him.
Yeah.
They re-signed him, and wait, let me double check on that. I could actually be wrong. Maybe I'm mixing him up with
I think they do.
Micah Hyde. Oh yeah, so they kept him, but I wonder if Micah Hyde is still there. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That I don't know.
Yeah, they're both still there. Okay, so
Okay.
they have both of them, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. So yeah, you got your safeties, most of your D line. You lose one of your linebackers. So we'll see. It'll be interesting, but there might be some drop off. And yeah, I still think that's the big three, though. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. It's still Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo in that order.
Yeah, until somebody knocks them off. Now, let's roll to the AFC North here. You got the Browns are going to have a full season of Deshaun Watson, off the field stuff, whatever. Just talking football here.
Yeah.
If he can get back to the way he was 2020, he's a pretty damn good quarterback.
Oh, great quarterback.
You got Kenny Pick 6 in Pittsburgh, which I'm not sold on him. But you got the Ratbirds. Lamar's back. Odell, we'll see where he is.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Injury. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on the AFC North in general?
I think the AFC North is the best division in football,
Mm-hmm.
bar none. I mean, no disrespect
don't disagree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to other divisions. I think like there's some other great divisions. Like I think the AFC East is really loaded too, with Aaron Rodgers, heading over to New York. Like I think that's a great division, and the Dolphins are still pretty good. Patriots are always kind of hanging around with Bill Belichick. I think that's a great the AFC North leaps and bounds is better than any division in the National Football League right now. And I'm not just saying that as like someone who covers the Bengals. Like I mean, you just look at all those teams. Like all those teams had a shot at the playoffs last year. Like the Ravens got in, the Bengals won back-to-back division titles. The Steelers finished like 9-8 after that weird start, and then the Browns. I mean, I get it; they were 7-10, but like to go 7-10 without your starting quarterback for like 11 games, that's not bad.
Right.
And honestly, they beat up the Bengals really good without him.
Oh my God, I know.
On Monday night, like that.
Like,
and honestly, I get it.
I'm
There was no
that,
Jamar Chase, but still, even with Jamar Chase, I don't think the Bengals would have won that game with the way they played.
Right. I'm Browns fans are like, oh, we own you. I got this.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I do disagree with that, but they're good.
Yeah.
I think the Browns will be good this year.
The Browns, they're good. I mean, this is not. I mean, the AFC in general, it's gonna be a dogfight. Like every good quarterback, actually, great quarterback is in the AFC. Now we got Aaron Rodgers there too. So I mean, it's not going to be easy. But the Bengals had it hard last year, and that's until they won their 10-game winning streak. And they were not against joke teams. It was a juggernaut team, and it's not going to be any easier this year. Everybody's gotten better, and the Bengals' target on their back has gotten nothing but better. So, or bigger, I should say. So, I mean, when I go out there and I say the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl, I wholeheartedly believe that, but it ain't going to be easy. They got to get, and that's one thing, Mohammad, they've got to get off to a better start this year.
They have to.
They have to. I want, we said this earlier in the broadcast, I want the playoffs to come through the jungle. I think that's a must this year. If that happens, if we have the AFC Championship game in the jungle, dude, it's over.
It's wrap.
It's
going to make a difference for sure, man, for sure.
I mean, that would be the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. We thought Monday night was loud. We'll wait till we get the AFC Championship game there. But, I mean, what is up? I guess I'm not asking for predictions or anything right now. It's still a little early. But, I mean, where are you at on, I guess, the standing? Are you as of right now, are you picking the Bengals to take the AFC North, or where are you at on the standings of the whole AFC
Oh,
North?
I have them winning it, and I have them going 14-3.
Ooh, I knew I liked you for a reason.
What'd you say?
I said I knew I liked you for a reason.
I'm just being. I mean, this is just my opinion. Like,
love
them or hate them, I think they're going 14-3 next year.
Well,
if things go the way they go.
They're one of the most talented teams and they're one of the most deep teams in the league. And now you have Jonah Williams, who's going to play right tackle. Which, I mean, if anybody thought that Jonah Williams wasn't going to play right tackle, I don't know. I don't know what they wanted the Bengals to do. I had so many people like, we need to trade Jonah. I said, oh, okay, then who plays right tackle? I mean, what if Jonah doesn't come in? Jonah's going to come in. He's going to make $12 million. Well, what if he is a cancer? When has Jonah Williams ever been a cancer? He was upset because the Bengals didn't tell him, even after they signed Orlando, that, hey, we want to have a conversation about you moving the right tackle. I can understand why he's a little upset. I mean, he has every right to be a little upset. But I think this is the best offensive line the Bengals have had.
Well, you know why he's upset though, right? It's actually not even because he's moving. Like, do you kind of know really?
They never talked to him ever.
And honestly, that's bad.
Yeah, I
that's
agree with
bad.
you.
That's actually very. And I think that's something that has to be addressed. But the problem is, we're not going to hear from Duke Tobin for. I mean, unless obviously Burrow gets extended soon, we're not going to hear from him for a very long time because it's not a Zach Taylor thing. I mean, that's not in Zach Taylor's hands. That's not in Frank Pollock's
that's
hands.
Katie. That's Duke. That's
Katie Blackburn, her, her husband, Mike Brown.
Yeah,
I mean, that's way beyond like the coaching staff. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Look, it is a business. I mean, you could argue Jonah Williams is not entitled to an explanation. Like, you could say he's not entitled to anything, and he's already playing. Yeah, like you could say, all right, he's already under contract. Like, he's going to have a job next year. Like, it's a business. Nothing handed to you. I get all that. And actually, that's a fair case. But at the same time, like, when his agent, which he said, his agent is reaching out to you, and you just want an explanation, that's a problem. And then when you told him in the exit interviews, no sign that like you might be replaced, that's another problem. Now, again, I guess you could say, oh, they always say that in the meetings. I don't know. I mean, just it's a hypothetical. Oh, everyone's told that in meetings. Maybe.
Maybe.
But something just doesn't add up, though. Like, why would you tell him he's good? And then, again, there's nothing wrong with the Orlando Brown signing. I think it was a great move. I think the move was needed. I just don't really understand the way they handled it. Like, why couldn't you just tell him, look, we have some concerns?
I don't think they expected, from what I've read and talked to.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Orlando
actually,
called them, so it wasn't like the Bengals went out and looked. Orlando called them and said, "Hey," and
it just worked out.
Right,
yeah.
And I think it happened so damn fast, and they wanted to keep it under wraps. So I understand why.
No, you're right. That is what happened. Yes, I had to refresh my memory. That is what happened.
So I understand why they didn't tell Jonah then. It's just all right after they signed him. Hey, Jonah, I know you heard this. We signed Orlando Brown. Sorry we couldn't give you a heads up. It happened quickly. We want to move the right tackle. I hope you're.
Then I think obviously there's two sides to an argument, and I'm not trying to speak for Duke Tobin or the Blackburns or Mike Brown. I'm not speaking for them, but maybe somebody's response would be, well, it's a business. Nobody owes you anything.
Well, I've had people tell me that too. Like, okay, what if you're at your job and they want to move you from this spot to that spot? Like, okay, well, most time it's my job compared to a NFL offensive lineman is completely different. Okay. You can't, that's when they drive out. People compare what like I do as a normal job compared to a professional athlete. It's not even the same freaking thing. They are highly paid athletes, and yes, you pay them, and it didn't matter if they told you or not, they were moving them. All right. So, I mean, it's up to them, but they deserve a phone call because look, Jonah's got to go get mentally prepared to play right tackle. It's something that it's not just, okay, you're going to go from this position to that position and, you can quickly do it, in a day or whatever. It's a whole different step. It's like Orlando Brown said, he said, it's like, because Orlando went from right to left. It's like doing a different fighting stance. Like everything Jonah has been doing for the last 6 years, he's got to do it the opposite way. So there is a mental muscle memory too that he's got to work on. And just, why not call the guy? Just say, hey, we need to play right tackle. I mean, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
The problem with not talking to Jonah, it doesn't really change the situation. I mean, he's playing right tackle. Right. He's going to be back next year. But if you want to really pull straws, like that feeds into the whole argument of, oh, it's the same old management. It's the same old ownership. Like, I think people can say that's playing a broken record over and over again. But now when you have something like this, it's not so much of a broken record anymore.
Well, that's the first time in about 6 years that I can actually say this is what they used to do all the time. I mean,
that you're bringing that out of the woods again. So it makes you wonder, like, is it the same old management, the same old leadership, or is there just something else to all this that we don't know that still makes that argument a broken record? That's not fair to say. I don't know. I'm just saying, if it's what we think it is, then that argument of, oh, it's the same old mom and pop shop in Cincinnati, that argument's not a broken record. If it is what we think it is, and then this is all speculation. I'm not trying to pin anything on anybody, but I'm just talking the picture. So I don't know. It is weird though. I do think it is weird, and I think Jonah has a case there in terms of being upset for sure.
Yeah, Ken here says he goes, they may wanted to see Jonah show some fire. Maybe. I mean, I
But
don't know
why though? Like
Yeah.
show fire on the field.
Yeah,
Show
I mean,
fire in training camp. I don't think you need to show fire in front of the media. I don't know
Yeah.
that they would want that. That's
and honestly, I
interesting.
think Jonah handled it as well as you can when he answered the question. He just, hey, I just wanted a phone call. He goes, I
He
can't
handled
remember
it
who,
with grace.
yeah, I can't remember who asked it, but he like, is the transition going to be smooth? He goes, I liked his answer. He goes, I don't know, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it work.
It might have been Dan Horde, or it might have been Kelsey Conway. I was
Mm-hmm.
only in for part of that discussion, but it might have been one of those two.
Yeah, but I mean, I love
Yeah.
his response. He doesn't know, but he's going to make it work, and that's all you need to hear. I'm going to make it work, and dude, if he's he's your right tackle, like I said, this is the best offensive line I think we've had since 2015. And the other thing that I brought up with this offensive line, with you got La'el Collins, who I don't care what anybody says, he's going to go on the PUP list at the beginning of the year. He's out of practice. He's not doing anything, which he tore every damn ligament in his knee. And it's going to take a while. So what I keep saying is, or wondering, they put him on the PUP list, and they keep him because the last 2 years when we went to the Super Bowl, we lost Riley Reef. Last year we lost 3 of our offensive linemen. It's been depth. Well, it's a pretty good depth piece to have, and if you bring him in on a jumbo package, your swing tackle. I mean, I'm not thinking blown away, and somebody makes him a trade offer. Of course they're going to trade him, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually keep La'el as their backup swing tackle, because somebody's probably going to get hurt if we play 20, 21 games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the NFL. Injuries are going to happen, and it happens on the offensive line like we saw last year. I mean, God, you lose Alex Kappa and Jonah Williams and La'el Collins for the playoffs, but you lose Kappa right before and you lose Williams during it. There's luck in it for sure, and the Bengals didn't get the good side of it. But at the same time, Duke told me made a good point at the combine. He said you can never have enough offensive linemen in the National Football League. Like, it's not even just Orlando Brown. Like, they signed Cody Ford in free agency. You still got Hakeem Adeniji, who you've had, playing all over the right side of the line since his rookie year, and you've got La'el Collins as a swing tackle option. You still have Deontay Smith. Like, does he have a chance to be a backup to Orlando Brown? I mean, Ted Karras is not going anywhere. Neither is Kappa. And Cordell Volson. Those guys are pretty set with their at. But yeah, I mean, you have with all those guys on the right side, it is bloated. And I don't even want to say it's a good problem. I just think it's a good thing to have because, you might. I mean, this is the worst case scenario. You might need Cody Ford. Right. You might need Hakeem Adeniji. You might need Jackson Carman. I mean,
we have the last couple of years.
I mean, think about this. If you're in a situation where I'm trying to think about the numbers here. Okay, La'el Collins is going to be on the PUP list to start.
Yeah.
Jonah Williams gets hurt in training camp, or he gets hurt in week 1. Jackson Carman's your right tackle.
Yep.
That's your right tackle. Unless, he'd be your right tackle. And then at that point, because Collins is on the PUP list, I think it would be Carman is the right tackle and Adeniji is the swing. But I think the way it's going to start, though, I mean, Adeniji would move to the swing tackle, but if things go as planned, Williams.
Boy, you don't think Jackson will be the swing at first?
So what I'm saying is he'll be the swing at first, and then if Jonah gets hurt,
I got you.
Carman moves up, assuming Collins is still hurt, and then Adeniji goes back to being the swing like he was last year.
Right.
Yeah. So you need all those guys. Like, they could all have a role that early in the season. Now,
where do you see Cody Ford? Because I know when they signed him, they said he's going to compete for the right tackle spot, but he's a guard, dude. I mean, I think he's going to end up being Alex Kappa's backup. That's what I think it's going to be. I mean, he'll compete at right tackle, and he's not going to win the job because it's going to come down to obviously Williams and Carman. But I think he'll have a spot. It'll just be behind Alex Kappa. Yeah, and it was the one thing I would wish they would get as far as another backup is another backup center, because Hill has not really played a lot, developed. I know Wilson took a couple snaps. Maybe he's an emergency center, but that's one thing I still would like them to try to get is another guard / center for backup reasons, because Ted Karras goes down. Hill's our next guy up, and that kind of scares me a little bit, to be honest.
It's questionable. I mean, it definitely is. I think maybe, there was just so much focus on Orlando Brown and the right side. I think maybe center got overlooked a little bit. So you have a case there. I don't think it's as dire as the other two positions I mentioned, but yeah, I think it's something you probably want to start looking at after next year, because I mean 2024, that's going to be a contract year for Ted Karras, like because he's on a 3-year deal. So, then you really got to start thinking about what do you want to do at center. So I'm with you on that.
Well, that's the thing too. Is we got Ted? He's got 2 more years. Kappa's got 2 more years. So yeah, you gotta you're gonna have to start figuring something out, and that brings you to Burrow and Chase and T, and then you got Logan Wilson. All these guys coming. I mean,
Fun stuff.
Yeah, which I mean, I've told people here on the show, like, they're not gonna be able to keep everybody. I was shocked they signed Pratt back. I was happy, but
I'm not shocked by that.
Oh, you're not?
I mean, I didn't expect it. I thought he was going to want to go somewhere else for more money, but I guess I'm not shocked that he wanted to come back is what I mean.
Okay. So what does that mean for Logan Wilson, I guess, is my follow-up question, because I thought it was between Pratt or Logan. I thought it was going to be Logan. Now, I don't know that you spend that much money on your linebacking room when you have Akeem Davis-Gaither, who would be cheaper than Logan Wilson. I don't know.
I think it all depends on how he does. I mean, if Logan Wilson balls out, I mean, he's going to do well no matter what. Don't get me wrong. But, like, if he really, really balls out, that's tough.
Right.
That's tough because you look at the linebacker market. Like I mentioned, Tremaine Edmonds going to the Bears. Like you got TJ Edwards joining him from, I think, Philadelphia. I mean, Roquan Smith getting a huge deal in Baltimore. Like, there's a market. And I'm sure Pratt, I think he acknowledged he kind of looked at the market, but like for him, it didn't matter because Pratt wants to win a Super Bowl and, he just really wants to be with Joe Burrow. So, but let's say but if the Bengals didn't have that, then, he would have gotten a lot of money somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I was thinking he might get like the Carl Lawson treatment, which, wasn't the case. Clearly both sides came to an agreement, which was good. But yeah, I think it's going to be hard because if you really, really are hell-bent on keeping Chase and Higgins and Burrow, you're asking for a lot. Because, like, you also got to consider, don't forget you mentioned, or there's one name you didn't mention, that's DJ Reader.
Oh, dude, my boy DJ, that's one that scares me because
it's a scary one,
do not have anybody to replace him. But the age he is, you don't know when the cliff is going to come for him, when he's just going to, not be able to do it. But I don't want to find out who we have behind him. Hopefully Zach Harder can step up, but he's not DJ. Like DJ is. It is an absolute shame that DJ has not made a freaking Pro Bowl. I mean, I don't know what the hell he's. And
it's all subjective, though. We all know how subjective that is.
I always say, go back to the Titans playoff game of 2021. Go watch DJ Reader. Go watch how many plays that dude made. I mean, he's a game changer. He just doesn't get the sacks. If he can ever get the sacks, he get more. But run stopping tackles, dude, DJ's the man. I love DJ Reader. I'm scared.
I actually, bold take. I think the Bengals keep him.
Dude, I hope they do. Well, okay, I got one for you. This is what I keep. This is what I've been saying. So since they drafted Miles Murphy and Erickson, or Trent Hendrickson is a free agent, or not free agent. He's got 1 more year's contract.
Yes.
After next year. I'll get my thoughts straight here. What if they cut Trey and they use that money to sign DJ because they signed Miles Murphy? That's kind of where
it could work. It could work.
Yeah, that's kind of what.
But you also got to consider this too, though. Here's the other thing with Trey Hendrickson. Here's the thought that you have to consider. What if Miles Murphy does what he does next year and Trey Hendrickson holds out for an extension? He might hold out and say, I want more money. But see, I don't think that would make sense because
I just cut him.
Just cut him. Oh, he want an extension? You're on the street now, buddy.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
He has no leverage in that situation. But I'm saying he might try to, like, maybe they'll say, like, let's say, here's what I mean to say. Let's say Miles Murphy doesn't do well. He just doesn't have a good rookie year, or he has a lot of flaws. And Hendrickson is like, hey, I got a year left on my deal. And if you guys think that this guy is the future, you're wrong. Give me my money.
Right.
Extend me. And maybe he's right and the Bengals actually want him. And it's like, well, maybe we don't want to cut him. Like maybe they don't want to cut him. Maybe they want to have him play out the deal. Okay, we're not going to cut you, but then you're in a little situation there. Like, I don't know.
It's interesting. That's where having too much talent which I keep saying the Bengals have too much talent, which I've never think that's a problem, but trying to keep it all, that's the problem. And that's where I think if you look at the draft, the Bengals were a heavily defensive draft because I don't think they're planning on keeping a lot of these guys because they want to keep Joe. They want to keep T. They want to keep Jamar. They're going to keep some of them. 2 guys I would keep is Logan and I would keep DJ. I think Cheeto is done after this year. I think Trey is gone after this year. That's just my personal.
Yeah,
opinion.
no, the writing is on the wall with Chidobe. I think he's gone. I mean, I think DJ Turner was the writing on the wall.
Right. So
That's his replacement.
And the thing is, they don't pay corners. I mean, they pay corners, but they really don't pay safeties with that. But I mean, you got DJ, you got Battle, you got Juice. That's your future cornerbacks right there. So I keep saying they can't pay everybody. It's going to be interesting how this all plays out. But that's why almost the pressure is on to get it done this year because this team ain't going to be the same after this year. It's still going to be good. Don't get me wrong, but we're not going to have the same guys here we've had for the last 3 or 4 years.
I don't think Tyler Boyd's going to be back either.
No, I don't think so. I love TB. I
think he knows that. I think he kind of knows that too.
Yeah, that's why I think they drafted Chuck Sizzle and Yoshi.
Yeah,
I think that's
another writing on the wall. Yeah, I agree.
So if you kind of look at what they're doing, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, it sucks for the players that you like, but if you want
business, it's a business.
Yeah, and if you want to win multiple Super Bowls, which is what I want to do, you can't keep everybody. You got to keep Burrow. You got to keep Chase. Those 2 for sure. And I want to keep T. I'm 99.9% sure they're going to, but there's still that little they might not. But.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about is he has the same agent as Jesse Bates.
Yep, exactly.
That's the only concern. The concern I have is like, here's a potential scenario with all these guys you can think about. Burrow gets paid this offseason, but Higgins doesn't. Again, this is if he is not.
Right.
Higgins is not paid. Chase is eligible. Chase is getting his.
Mm-hmm.
Chase is getting his. We can all agree on that.
Chase is getting his. Yeah.
Chase gets his. Burrow gets his.
You franchise T then.
You franchise him, and then you have a repeat of that entire Jesse Bates saga.
Right.
Because they have the same agent, and it's the same dynamics of a talented player at his respective position getting franchise tagged. Now it's asking for, might be asking for it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but
I hope it doesn't come to that. But you can see it. Mulugeta, they have not worked well with Mulugeta.
No, they have not. I don't know I don't know how they feel about each other, but I mean, we can definitely tell it has not worked out since last year, and I don't think it's going to get better.
No, unfortunately.
But
anyway,
I will say too, though. Think about this: if T does get a deal done now or later, I think Logan gets the franchise tag.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
I think
they're definitely using a franchise tag on somebody next year. I guarantee you that. There's too many guys out there.
Yeah, it wasn't using anybody this year because there was no point. But next year it's going to be used on somebody. It's probably going to be either T or Logan, and maybe a hard DJ Reader.
Yeah, those would be the top 3 I would select. Yeah. And like I said, I would be, and I'm telling everybody you can't get attached to people, but I love DJ.
He's a great guy. He's a great human
I've met
being.
him a couple of times. He is an awesome dude, and he's an awesome player. I would just hate to see him in some other uniform. But I mean, like I said, but for me, like, all right, T, they got, I'm not trying to, I don't want any of them to leave, but T, they got somebody they can replace. They drafted UC. They have people. Logan, they have Keem Davis Gaither be a free agent, but I mean, they could sign him for cheaper. They have people that could replace him at a lower cost. They don't have anybody with DJ. They have nobody. They have nothing behind. They still haven't replaced Larry Ogunjobi, So that's where I'm like, DJ would be a big loss. I think he might be the biggest loss if they lose him. That's just me. I don't know. Anyway,
no, I get it. I get it, man. I definitely understand, man. I mean, it's tough. Like, I know people say
DJ, man.
Like I said, people say he's not a Pro Bowler or whatever. But I'm like, that's subjective. I don't care about that.
I know, but they don't watch him. That drives me.
They don't. Otherwise, they wouldn't be saying that. So yeah,
exactly. All right, Mohammad. Hey, I appreciate you being on for almost an hour. Tell them where they can find you. You said you have a podcast, which I didn't even know you had a podcast. I got to start listening to this if you have one. What is your podcast? What's your articles, and where can they find you?
Yes, we do have a podcast. It is the Strictly Stripes podcast. You can get it, I mean, really anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, I mean, heck, even iHeartRadio, or you can get it directly off our website, which is strictlystripes.com. which is where you can also find my articles, including the Joe Burrow leadership story you mentioned, like around the top of the hour. So
Yep.
check us out there. Twitter wise, I am on Twitter the way my name is spelled, Mohammad Ahmad TV. So Mohammad Ahmad, like you see on the screen there,
Yep.
and then TV. I used to be a TV reporter, so I just never changed my name. I kept it.
Yeah, keep your followers.
Makes me feel cool.
Exactly.
Cool cat.
Exactly.
I like to think I'm cool. I like to think I'm cool.
I think you're cool.
I think you're cool too.
I can't even see it right now. I think you're cool. That's how cool you are.
I know, right? Like I'm so low key, you can't even see me. Maybe that's why my camera's like, we're not gonna show you today. You're too cool for the camera. Or maybe I'm so ugly I broke it. I don't know.
No, that
could be either or.
That's not it. I think didn't I meet you down at the Holy Grail like 2 years ago? I think I did. Were you here?
No. I've only been here for like 9 months, and I've never been to the Holy Grail.
Well, you have to go down to the Holy Grail. We have to go have some food and stuff down there. But if you guys ever,
I don't drink though. I'm Muslim, so I don't drink.
Yeah,
alcohol.
that's why I said food. So I knew you were Muslim. So I said, we have some food. We have some dinner. See, I know my audience.
Oh, for sure. I heard it's good food.
It is. But yeah, if you guys ever need a crazy Bengal fan on your podcast, hit me up. I'll come on.
We do what we can.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Have a great day. Who day?
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Go check out Mohammad, Cleveland.com. Check out his podcast. Check out all the stuff. Go find him on Twitter. He's a great dude. He was gracious enough to come on my show, talk some Bengals. I don't know what everybody's going to do tonight. There's no FC game. There's no Cincinnati Reds game. Obviously, the Bengals are in town. I don't know. I got to find out. Maybe I'll watch the NBA draft. I don't know. Chris Paul's apparently a Golden State Warrior now, which I don't. He's going to have to come off the bench, I think. I don't know. I don't pay as much attention to the NBA as I used to, but that'll be an interesting dynamic because that's the first thing I thought of when I heard that Chris Paul got traded to the Warriors. Like, well, you got Steph and you got Clay. Well, he's got to be the sixth man. Just what I'm thinking, but I don't know. Anyway, let me get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And, of course, I appreciate every single one of you guys. They are Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Radical Reds, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar. And then you follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trinopole. TikTok is at Iceman90. I'll be pulling a sign off later on tonight, putting on the podcast on BeanPod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Go check out Riverfront Bengals. I was on their podcast last night. We had a great time. We talked for almost 2 hours. We talked Bengals. We talked Reds. We talked Bearcats. We talked Star Wars. We talked Kiss. We talked all kinds of stuff. So make sure you guys go check that out. It's on I tweeted it out. It's on my timeline. They're also on Spotify, Google, Stitcher, all that. So go check it out. Go check out their YouTube channel, Riverfront. They call it The Riverfront, and then the show is Riverfront Bengals. So if you go subscribe to The Riverfront, go check out my boys, Bengals and Brews. They're going to have my best friend, Ted Karras, on their show Thursday. Morning Prow's got Teddy K on Monday, I think it is. I don't remember. Hey, Teddy K is like, I was the first one to get him on the podcast. Now he's like on everybody else's podcast. Won't answer me, but we're still best friends. Still my dude. He's going to come on sometime. I know he is. But anyway, go subscribe to all those shows. We got lots and lots of great podcasts here in Cincinnati covering the Bengals, Reds, and the Bearcats. Anyway, I got one more show, then I'm on vacation. I can hear Dale in the background. You're always on vacation. I don't know. I haven't been on vacation, actual vacation, since March. I went to Minnesota for a couple of days. That doesn't really count as a vacation. But anyway, if Joe Burrow contract happens or anything cool happens while I'm on vacation, I will be jumping on live. So I got Gary Miller on tomorrow. I don't know what time yet. I'm trying to figure out his schedule. But he said he would come on tomorrow. He wasn't able to come on that Tuesday, I think it was. So make sure you guys check that out. I had an awesome time yesterday. Didn't have a show, live streamed the Reds game. Watched them win their 11th in a row. It was awesome. I appreciate all you guys jumping on and having fun watching the game with me. And like I said, Atlanta Braves, you've been put on notice. The Reds are coming. The first place Cincinnati Reds. That's right. I said it again. The first place Cincinnati Reds. I love the sound of that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
Talked about it yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder. Everyone talking about a neutral AFC championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. Back-to-back champs, kings of the north with it. Thinking they can hang with us, still ain't jumped out the porch with it. Long bomb to chase every Sunday, watch him go and get it. Double up on him, then we gon' double down on T. Higgins. Then throw Boyd in the mix, now you really iffy. Every Sunday showing boys how to really gritty. They try to shuffle up the game on us, but they ain't icky. Flip the coin, kick the toe Roger to go and get it. Never know what's gonna happen when Joe drop back. He get shiesty in the pocket, I get shiesty on the track. Nobody on the team all pro, that's all cap. Most all around team in the NFL, that's all fact. Ain't came across nobody yet that seem like they can hang with us. They said we couldn't be Buffalo, but see how we call they bluff. Underdogs every week, they keep on trying to label us. Put your money on us, even if Vegas don't favor us. No matter what, we really came up, now it's hard to fail. I dare you come across that middle, Von gon' ring your bell. I know we under they skin, them boys built frail. Eli Apple out there chirping like a next tail. You don't want Salmon Trey to come off them ends. Rita clogging up the middle like a big body Benz. Right behind them Logan and Pratt, the turnover twins. Jesse Bates in the backfield just to clean up the loose ends. We just drafted Cam and drafted Hill. Instant gratification every time that they on the field. We can't go back to what we was, cause that's the loser way. It's been hard to throw on us since we picked up a Woozy. It's like win after win, feel like we could really do it. Zach Taylor doing his thing for the city, I give it to him. And I bet Samaji will find a hole if you give it to him. Hayden Hurst don't need a hole, he just plan on running through him. Just hand it off to 28 and let him do the dash. Getting hit by BJ Hill probably feel like a car crash. Every week it seem like Lou digging deeper in his bag. And if the game on the line, all my favorite money match. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up.